talking. We tried to go on a date. I was really awkward. Go on walks.
Let's get prettied up and go on a date.
15 people came, and it was all guys and me, and then there was me.
Hey, what's up? My name's Chris.
And I'm Gloria.
And today we have two guests on with us, and they are...
Hi, I'm Dakota.
And...
Hey, I'm Austin.
And they're in a relationship together. They've been dating for a little while, and we're going to be asking them 4 questions. And those questions are...
What's your love story / what attracted you to each other?
Oh my.
How is this relationship different from your past relationships? What strengths and weaknesses do you have that complement each other? And how can you further the kingdom together more than apart?
And if those questions sound interesting to you, make sure you stick around. All right, so tradition. Tradition basically is that we talk about what drinks have been brought to the table. So what have you guys brought to the table?
I'll go first. I have carbonated water.
Nice. That's what that is?
Yes.
What's it called again?
Topo Chico.
Topo Chico.
I think that's how you say it.
I didn't even know that was carbonated.
I didn't even know that was water.
Mineral water.
I thought it was like a Sprite.
From Mexico, apparently.
Wow. Now I kind of want it. I never got it because I guess I never looked at the label that much.
Do you like carbonated water, though?
Not really.
It's good with
But the mineral water.
An espresso.
An espresso? Oh, you like put it in the espresso?
No.
Or you drink it
like on the
just
side.
Together.
Yeah.
Why is that good?
It's just a thing.
They did that at Java Smugglers when I got espresso there.
Yeah.
They give me water on the side.
Sunday Motor Co.
Oh.
If anyone's watching from there.
What about... Oh, yeah. That would be pretty crazy if somebody was literally watching specifically from Sunday Motor Co.
That'd be cool. Her coworkers.
What about you, Austin? What'd you bring to the table?
I have Minute Maid Aguas Frescas mango flavor.
Little did you know that was like my drink like 2 episodes ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What did you think of it? Did you shake it well?
I don't think I shook it that well.
I didn't shake it well.
Like, it's kind of tastes like water on the top and like the syrup on the bottom. This is definitely not from Mexico. It's just like designed to look that way.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's got this like maraca mango thing on it. I think that's fake.
Yeah, that must be fake.
It's super fake.
Yeah. The way I shook it was I just put my lips on the lid and then I
yeah, it was weird.
around, like my head.
Whoa,
like,
it was weird.
That's,
we don't
that's
talk about
hardcore.
Yeah. It didn't work like I thought it would work. But what about you, Glow? What'd you bring to the table?
I have a soda this week. I know. It's bad. But I really wanted to try it. It's strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper. And that just like blows my mind. So I'm going to try it right now.
We are watching a live historical
Gloria has
reaction.
taken her sip. She has allowed it to sit in her palate. She's discerning.
You know what it tastes like?
What?
It tastes like one of those Hall's cough drops. That's like the sweet ones that taste like candy, like the swirl.
Yeah.
Like imagine like the strawberry
the ones that
vanilla
don't actually
swirl.
like help you.
Yeah, but they taste like candy.
Because they are.
Literally, it's that.
That sounds.
But I'm not complaining because I get those.
Decent.
Because they taste good.
I brought to the table strawberry lemonade.
Nice. First sip.
Super sweet. Whoa, that is
let's
super
check that
sweet.
sugar count.
That is super sweet. That tastes like a Jolly Rancher.
That has 54 grams of sugar.
Whoa.
Did you
That's
know?
bad.
Oh, that's so
Wawa?
bad.
That's like
Sugars
that
it
is
up.
sin
Yo.
right there.
Wow,
That's
this
bad.
is wrong. This is wrong. You should say how much sugar's on the front.
That's
Which
bad.
you don't. But anyways.
Cool.
Well, first off, just want to say thanks, guys, for being on the show.
Yeah.
And for everybody else who's listening, if you're drinking something right now, just like let us know what you're drinking. It's been a minute since we asked that question.
Can they leave comments?
Yeah, they can leave comments.
On YouTube.
On YouTube,
Yeah,
or
true.
sometimes we ask a question on
Instagram.
and Spotify. But
Yeah.
wherever you find our community, just let us know what it is that you're drinking. But for you guys have been friends with us for a good amount of time. At least Dakota has been friends with us. Austin's a little new to the table, but we kind of like had like 3 nights where we were like all hanging out for like a couple of days in a row. So that was kind of cool, and I felt like I got to know you a little bit more in that process too.
And then we all biked together.
2
days ago.
Yes. So we've been diving into our friendship and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
But
it's been great.
Yeah, but we're still getting to know you. So I think even asking these questions is going to be enlightening to us because we haven't been super behind the scenes on your relationship too much. So it'll be really cool, and I'm thankful that you guys are willing to be able to be open and vulnerable and stuff in that way too. So our first question. Are you ready? Gloria, ask away.
Okay. It's a 2-part, but it's one question. What's your love story and what attracted you to each other?
Who goes first? I feel like that will be the hardest thing. Who goes first?
You can just switch back and forth.
Yeah.
Should
Who
I
do you
go
think
first?
tells it better?
I don't know. Should we rock, paper, scissors? Who goes first?
I don't think the listeners can hear our rock, paper, and scissoring.
It's okay. I
We'll
can
let them
comment.
know.
Yeah, I'll
Chris will
comment on it.
commentate.
Okay.
Ready?
Dakota has already put up a
Okay.
fist. Austin is now joining the party.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Dakota and Austin both threw scissors. Austin has
Okay.
lost by throwing paper. Dakota won with scissors. It was incredible. The
So I
crowd goes
think that
crazy.
means I go first.
Yes.
Okay.
You go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll start from the beginning. We've talked about this already.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So I met Austin probably over a year ago when I started to lead Bible study at my house. And I remember I sent out like a mass message to the house church, which is like a huge group chat of people from like the Christian community in the area.
In like North Jersey, like over 400 people
Yes.
at the time. Were, like,
Yeah,
in that
I don't
group
know what
chat.
I was thinking. A lot of people showed
You
up.
opened
One-
the door to 400 potential people to come to your house.
And it was really big that
Yeah.
first time.
Yeah.
And that specific day, like, I don't know, maybe 15 people came and it was all guys and me. And then there was me. I was like, where are the women? But yeah, Austin was there, and I have a memory of him like sitting next to me outside because I had it like we sat outside by the fire having Bible study, and yeah, I remember him sitting next to me, but I don't remember like what I really was thinking. I'm pretty sure I thought he was kind of odd. And also like
Austin's like, we talked about this. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people's first impression of me too. So
yeah, I was like, he's kind of weird, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know anyone. I probably felt that way about everyone that came that I didn't know. But I know that he sat next to me. And yeah, at the time, I just like was not interested in dating at all. I was like, no one is like coming into my life. I was just focused on like leading Bible study and trying to build a relationship with God. And that was that. Then we
Yeah.
parted ways. And I would see him sometimes at church. Only a few times that I remember. And I remember him sitting next to our friend. And I feel like there was a moment where I was like, he's kind of cute. But I didn't think anything of it because, again, like I just wasn't interested or looking.
yeah.
And then, yeah, more time passed. So this has been like a year by now that from the first time I met him. And then our friend had a worship night, and there were probably like 20 people there.
Which one was
maybe.
this? Was this at Chris's house?
Danny's
Yes.
house.
Danny's.
This is Danny's
Hi,
house?
Danny, if you're watching.
Yeah.
Or
Shout out
listening.
to Danny.
Yeah, it was at Danny's house, and I show up late, and like everyone is praying, and I just like barge in, and his mom was like,
You barged in?
yeah, she's
You like
like,
Wow.
busted the
"Speak
door down?
Yeah,
Oh my
Slam your
Dakota, the
shoes on the
loudest one in the room.
Whoa, that's crazy.
So I just waited, and eventually I went and sat down, and like everyone was preparing, and I think Danny was like, oh yeah, Dakota, you play guitar. You should play the guitar for one of the songs. So he gave me the guitar, and somehow I ended up sitting next to you. I don't know how.
It was magic. Just kidding. It was God.
So I end up on the other side of the room, sitting next to him, and I'm like, I have my phone out, and I needed to like scroll through my phone so I could see the chords that I had to play.
Yeah.
And he was so kind to be like, I'll scroll your phone for you so you can play. And
Were you thinking anything in that moment? No.
Nope.
You were just, I'm just scrolling.
Mhm.
I'm the
I
scroller.
was doing my job.
Yeah, you're doing
I was
job.
helping
Nice.
people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
yeah, I wasn't thinking anything either. I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, this nice person is helping me. And like, I recognized you. And then, yeah, I don't know, like the worship ended, and then all I really remember is like continuing conversation after that. And there were like so many people surrounding us, but he just talked to me like the whole time. And I was like, I think this person might like me. He keeps talking to me, and like really we only talked to each other like the whole night. And I even remember like looking at my one friend and was like, I'm sorry, I'm not talking to you. I didn't tell her that. I was just like giving her the eyes.
But you're telling
like,
her that now.
Yeah. I won't say her name, but maybe she knows who she is. Yeah, and so that's like really, well, okay, it still continues. The night goes on, and through like our conversation, I remember us talking about music, and
there was like a little baby in the room with like wings and like an arrow kind of thing, just like waiting.
I was telling him like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like who is this person? Just like some crazy like attraction. It wasn't like that, but all this time that I had been single, like there really was no one that I was interested in or even like had a feeling about. And for some reason, like my heart just felt like this kind of warmth. And I was like, I want to keep talking to this person. And yeah, towards the end of the night, I remember he asked for my phone number and he was like, can you send me this music that you were talking about? And I was like, I think that's him trying to ask for my phone number, but in a polite way.
Was that you trying to ask for it?
Yeah, 100%.
It wasn't just like,
I
really want to know this music. It was just like, no, give me your phone number.
It was a little bit of both. I could give myself a little bit of credit.
Yeah, and then I guess we'll stop there. And then like more events came after that. But that's my perspective on like up until that point. Mm-hmm. That cool. We've exchanged numbers to this point.
Yeah, that was just like the initial interest, kind of like after all the slight meetings, you're like, okay, this maybe is going somewhere. So how was that for you? Is it pretty much the same deal or different? Or?
Yeah, the same events, but and probably similar thoughts too. When I went to the Bible study, like Danny had reached out to me. He's like, yo, you gotta come over to this Bible study. I was like, okay, because I didn't have community at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I went out and came to this place, a million people, and I wasn't interested in looking for anybody either. And I saw Dakota. I was like, oh, she's cute. And then immediately the thought like disappeared.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking like, I don't know, she seems like a pretty cool person, but beyond that, I don't think we really talked that day much anyway. Because I think you were trying to run away from the 15 guys.
Oh yeah,
I'm not gonna lie,
was uncomfortable.
That must have been a little crazy. And then that year went past, and then I don't know, like unrelated to anything. This is like a few weeks before we actually started talking. Somehow she came up in conversation from two guys. I didn't like bring it up. It was just brought up twice. And so like looking back now, I'm like, that kind of got my gears like spinning. Cause again, like I wasn't looking for anything. I didn't want nothing to do with nobody. Forever. I was like, I'm done with relationships forever. I'm never going to get married. And then at some point, God was like, listen, kid. And I was like, okay, all right.
God's like an Italian dad, you know.
He opened up he opened up my heart, and I was like, okay, I'll accept this reality that may come to pass, and if it doesn't, that's fine.
Yeah.
Then her name came up two times, unrelated, like, and it was two private conversations. I don't know. So it got my gears spinning, and I saw her at church a few times, and I'm like, And then fast forward to the worship night. So the reason why I was the scrolling man was because one of the guys that was playing guitar, his phone was way too slow for like the pace that we were going, and it was like the automatic scroll. It was the automatic scroll, so slow, and I'm like, I've had it with this. This guy doesn't have 4 arms. So I was like, let me help you. And then I was the scrolling man, and then I think another guitarist went, and then like Dakota just like showed up, and I was like, oh yeah, Dakota. Oh yeah. And then I was like,
you're like, I love my job.
Yeah. And then scrolling, we prayed, and then I remember my thought being, this is my chance. Like I gotta just open up my mouth, and if nothing works out, at least I'll have like a new friend that may or may not be very like a cool person to have in my life.
Yeah.
And so the first question that came out of my mouth was, so how long have you been coming to Emergence? Like the most basic thing I could think of. And yeah, and then she like acknowledged me, which I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. Like,
Yeah.
she was like reciprocating of the conversation. She didn't seem too bothered, which was cool.
Dakota was like, why is this guy talking to me right
Yeah, yeah. And I was
No.
just like, I don't know. My wheels were spinning. I was thinking, but yeah, that's yeah. And then that's where we stopped, I think, right? Pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Cool. So that's
So-
like chapter 1. You guys both kind of like not looking for something, but then end up finding maybe someone, which is pretty cool. And especially like, I always think it's really cool when people find themselves serving. And even though you both weren't like going out doing like, you know, like helping people who are experiencing homelessness or something like that, you were still like serving the body in like a capacity. And I think that's like one of the coolest places to be able to find someone else, because you're like naturally seeing their heart for God, not like hearing about it but never seeing it first, you know. It's like without pressure that you just see them like loving God. So that's cool.
Yeah. I guess like what attracted you to me like in this first like portion of us meeting, like up until this point?
Is this a question you're asking Austin right now?
Yeah, like
Okay,
kind of
okay.
like the second part of the question, but
Yeah.
like because I feel like it changes. It's changed
Gotcha.
over the months.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, oh man, it was honestly like the way you played the guitar. Like I couldn't stop watching your hands. It was like very gentle, like very graceful and very gentle. And I was like, I wonder if she's like is like how she plays, because it's like it was like watching like for me at least in that moment I was thinking it's just like two ballerinas going across the stage like in like unison doing two different things but like the same, like on the same tempo of the music.
Yeah.
And then when she like opened her mouth I was like oh my gosh, like it's so, I feel so calm.
Wow.
I feel like so like at ease. And even still, like every time I look at her, every time like I talk to her, I just feel like I just like everything just like falls off.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah. Yep. So it was that, and then, you know, I like surface level, like you were cute, and then I just really liked how you handled the conversation. I liked your prose. I really liked, you know, your thought process and how you thought through the conversation, and you paid attention, because like the next day, like I had like, 'cause I do this theme thing with my, like a lot of my profile pictures, and she went along with it just like randomly. That was like, I woke up in the morning, it was probably around 8, and then just this text came up, and I was like,
What does
like,
that
no
mean?
way.
What does that look like? The theme profile pictures? What is that?
You're gonna have to like get them to do it. Like,
yeah, I know,
to send you.
because it's now it's like people that I really talk to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever played like old Lego games. Like, do you know anything about the older Lego games or no?
Like the video
Oh, you
game?
mean
Yeah,
like
like Lego
contact
video
photos?
games. Yeah, and I made them like the Lego icons, little circles that float up in the corner. I make them like different characters,
yeah.
and she went along with it, and I was like, this girl is so cool. What?
Yeah.
She wasn't judging me or anything. And like, and she was remembering things that I didn't even remember saying.
Yeah.
I was like, she was really like, this might be a chance to like really like reach out to her.
Yeah.
And then try to do something. So that was like a lot, like your personality like really like drew me.
I love that. Like, I love how there's just in relationships, like a little, what's it called when you like throw out a line or something like that. And it's like these really small things between people, which are like, from an outside perspective, it's like, oh, that's so like cute, like silly kind of. But like Mike and Alexandra, like theirs was, I like your sweater. Like
Oh,
they
yeah, I
they
remember
like
that.
said that to each other. They're like, I like your sweater. And then Mike's like, and that's when I knew. And I was like, what? But like, it's so cool that it's like, for you, it's just like changing your Lego profile picture, or changing your profile picture to like a Lego, and her doing that, reciprocating that, and then you being like, oh dang, I think she might like me. I think this might be like a good opportunity.
Yeah, like literally everything around me stopped, and like
Yeah.
when she's like, when I opened it, I like everything just like stopped. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, like I felt like spoken to. It was weird.
Yeah. She
So
was
cool.
she was talking your language, like your like
Yeah,
actual.
that's a good way to say it.
Yeah, your like internal language where you're like, oh, someone sees me.
Yeah. For
that's
me,
super cool.
not just like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to like change this person, or I want to do this or that. Like, you know,
Yeah,
I don't feel that from her.
that's awesome. That's super cool. And what about you?
What did I ask? Oh, okay. I think I know. Yeah, so for me, I kind of touched on it. Like, it's hard to explain because, like, yeah, just in that moment, I was feeling like a warmth towards this person. Like my heart just opened in a way like it hadn't yet up until this point. And then I think too, like, Austin is a very like joyful, kind of like youthful person, and that intrigued me, I guess, or just like drew me to him.
Yeah,
My
He has
answer's
the
a lot shorter.
the fountain of youth within him. I
Yeah.
know Austin was so poetic. He was just like, it was the way she played the guitar, just so calm and angelic. I don't remember.
I mean,
what
you were
said,
just
but-
scrolling. I can't be like, the way you scrolled my phone was so poetic.
Like a little inchworm just crawling.
That's so funny. Okay, so you guys found each other attractive. You know, felt accepted by each other. At what point did you make the leap into?
Yeah, what brought you to now? From,
Yeah,
like,
now.
that
Like, what point made you start dating each other?
Okay, so yeah, I ended up texting him. And again, like, I don't really know why. I just felt like a pull to do it.
You texted him. You said, "Be my boyfriend."
No, I just sent him a picture of the Lego. And
So
that was it.
basically-
Like, that's all I said.
That was
It was like a girl Lego and a boy Lego.
Austin's like, yes.
I do. Like,
It was like a Lego with the thumbs up, but they don't have thumbs. So
no, they're just like crab claws. So it's just like one
Yeah.
of those.
yeah, that's so funny.
And it was like the most like generic plain Lego too. Like the one with brown hair. That's it.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Like, this is so good.
And then I think I sent you to like the music that we had been talking about.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just remember like our conversation was so like in depth over text. Like we were just texting all day. These like giant like essays. I'm like, wow, this person is really nice to talk to, at least like over text.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really enjoyed talking to him over text.
Maybe I'll enjoy it in person too.
Yes. Yeah. And that was enough to be like, I'm sure I should hang out with him.
Yeah.
And then I think the first time we actually hung out after that was when Danny and Garrett and you went fishing, and they were like in Boonton.
Oh, cool.
And they're like, you should come get food with us. And I did. And yeah, it basically was like a month of us talking. We tried to go on a date. I was really awkward. And
Wait, tell us about it.
okay, so this date, I just learned that I'm not a date person. Like, I think dates are really awkward, at least when I don't know someone.
You mean like just sitting across from someone else and like having
someone new.
Someone new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like getting coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very awkward.
Should have made
to me.
like ornaments for Gloria and I.
Oh my gosh. Throwback.
I'm just kidding.
So yeah, we went on this date. We went to Paper Plane in Montclair. I love that coffee shop. It's great. Yeah. And then we like went on a walk, and I don't know, I just felt so awkward. I'm like, I don't know this person really. Like, we've been talking over text, but like this is a different dynamic now.
Yeah.
And like now it's like it's established that we are like liking each other, and that just made me feel very uncomfortable for some reason. And then we went to this yarn store, and like I went to go buy a yarn, and Austin's like, let me buy it. And I was like, no. I was like, no, absolutely not. And then I got even more awkward, and poor Austin was like, she's probably never gonna talk to me again.
How did you feel in that moment, Austin?
I was like,
You were like, what?
she said no. And I was like, okay.
Okay. So it didn't impact you as much as...
It wasn't that bad. I just like I thought she wasn't gonna like talk to me again. I thought things were just gonna start like teetering off, but I was like, I better. It is what all things are vanity. Well, like,
that's
like,
that's an inside joke to our Bible study there.
Yes.
But yeah.
Read Ecclesiastes.
Yeah.
You definitely thought it was awkward though.
Yeah. Right. Well, I don't know. It was a little awkward. it was a little awkward, but also like I get the date thing because like I definitely am not like a date person.
Yeah.
Like we go on a date and we're sitting across from each other, shoving food in our mouths, going like,
that's
and like,
so awkward
it's like
to me.
You buy all this food and you have to either talk or you eat and show them like, oh man, he's got like horse teeth or something like, or whatever. Like, or he eats like a pig. I can hear him snorting. It's like
yeah, I mean,
it's very vulnerable.
It's 50-50. You never know.
Why is she on her phone while she's eating? How she can do two things at once?
Yeah, I feel like eating in front of someone is like for some reason vulnerable. I don't know. Like people that go on their first date and they like eat, that's impressive to me. Yeah. I don't know.
That's normal people. We're definitely not normal people though.
That's okay though. I mean, everybody's story is different. And I think that's what we're getting an insight to, you know, is like despite the fact that you feel like you had a really awkward first date, like you're still here. Right now.
It's true.
So like obviously like something happened there. And I think probably those text conversations gave you like hope and like a key insight into the other person. And even though that way of getting to know each other, like just going on a date one-on-one might have not been the money, it might just have been through other means. Like did you guys find a greater connection when you were with community, or did you just keep trying dates?
I think we just like kept hanging out, like not like establishing it as a date, and just kept hanging out. And
so it was just like less pressure.
Yeah, it was so much more natural.
Yeah.
Which is like the nature of this relationship has just been extremely organic and natural.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we would just like chill and watch like a movie or whatever, or we'll just like, let's cook like a meal.
Yeah.
Or let's play cards
together.
Yeah. Like that we would just do like stuff like that rather than like let's get prettied up and go on a date. Like it's just different.
I mean, Chris and Gloria went on a lot of dates, so I feel they might feel judged right now.
No, we don't feel judged.
We had our fair share of like different dates.
Yeah,
when we
definitely
dating.
like. I mean, our first one was super fancy schmancy, but like after that, it was like super chill. And
but that was technically like we'd already hung out before that once.
Exactly,
and
we knew each other.
We ate food, but we were also painting pots while we were eating food. Like we were multitasking.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
For me, like. The reason that I wanted to do something with Gloria was because I would have felt that same like awkward, like, okay, like this is a lot of pressure just sitting across and like nothing else to do with my hands. Like I'm like I need to do something.
You might feel like you have to like dive deep right off the bat or something. If like all you have to do is
especially
talk.
me, I would probably just go like way too deep immediately
and
then
okay.
Anyway.
Wait, so how long have you guys been dating now?
I guess officially dating, which I'll tell you how that happened too, I guess. What's today? It's been over a month. I know that.
July
so
10th.
we've been talking.
It's July. I mean, June 3rd is when we officially started.
Yeah. But it feels like 2 months. Because, like we had just been starting to hang out. And within that month, kind of what led us to date was like we started to like hold hands. And we weren't like dating. And I was just like, okay, where is this relationship going? I feel like we need to talk about that and like figure out what we want to do.
Yeah.
So, one day I was like, can we talk about this? And then we did. And we talked about like what we're looking for in a partner and like trying to see if those things aligned. And I think like what we like valued in each other, I'm pretty sure we talked about that. And then by the end of the day, it was just kind of like, well, it feels like we've already been dating. So like, are we officially dating now? And
like the resolution to those questions were like, you guys were seeing like eye to eye on those things too. Okay. That's really cool. Nice. That's awesome. Well, congratulations. I mean, on 1 month, you know, that's pretty cool. It's also like the smallest amount of time that we've had a couple on too, you know, and I feel like you guys can kind of speak really in a fresh way to some of these other questions that we have for you.
Yeah,
like,
I was
as
gonna
well.
say it's a good segue into the next question, kind of.
Yeah, you want to ask it?
Sure. How is this relationship different from your past relationships?
Yeah. How is this one different than past ones?
Wow.
This is a lot. I feel like for both of us.
It's very stark. Very,
Yeah.
very stark. Neither of us had been in Christian relationships until this one. So navigating that has been like super interesting. Hasn't been like, I wouldn't say it's been like hard, but like,
No,
because like we have like
hard.
community and we have like previously established relationships with the Lord too.
Yeah.
So that really like lends itself to, being God
Yeah.
like, and stuff. What was the question? I just lost my train of thought.
Your past
Oh, yeah,
relationships.
yeah.
How has it been different?
So, like, number one, Christ. Because with my previous relationships, I was looking for a wife at 16 for some reason. I was like, I have these high standards. I'm gonna be a man. I'm 16 years old. What do I know?
Yeah.
And like,
I
of
feel
course,
you,
like
though.
I got into
the same way.
relationships. I got into relationships like with non-Christians, and like one that I remember in particular lasted for a couple of years. I was like, just so you know, I'm not doing the do, and I'm not marrying a non-Christian. So because we have had this friendship like previously, I'm going to give this some time for you to like get to know Christ. I'm going to bring you to church, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can imagine how that went. It was a complete disaster. I felt like for like the last 2/3 of the whole thing, I felt completely like caged. If I had like let go of this person like at all, she would have just fallen apart. Like I had to, at some point I had to start parenting her because she just, her mental health was declining and stuff. And, I've nothing but love for her. I really hope she's doing well. I have no idea. But, with her, like, she doesn't make me panic.
Yeah.
Like when I'm near her, she doesn't make me panic. Over text, she doesn't make me panic. I don't have to question like, oh my gosh, is she okay? Oh my gosh. Like I don't have to overcompensate emotionally for this person.
Yeah.
Because like she's got it. Like she's like got it together, I guess, like to put it light, just to put it just to put it gently. And the biggest thing is she already has a relationship with the Lord. And it, like, I was listening to, like, she sends me these cool little like episode things, like, cause I'm not super familiar with like a lot of Christian online stuff. So she sent me this episode of these people, and they were like, you can have, if you can have enough hope in God changing this person, why don't you place the hope in that God will give you someone who already has a relationship with him? I don't know if that I didn't say it that well, but
No, that makes sense.
But
I think that's probably like a really good nugget for people to take away from. It's just like a lot of people put so much work into trying to allow God to work in their significant other's life in hopes that they'll become the person that they want them to be. But like, if you have that much faith, then just be patient and have faith that God will also just bring that person who's already there.
Yeah. God, like, cause I remember this last year, this Uber driver in Clearwater, Florida, because I was down there alone. She was talking to me about like Jesus. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm a Christian. I love Jesus. And she was like, okay, great. And then like the last thing she left me with was, I want you to write this down. I said, okay. So I got my phone out, and she said, ask God to make you the man that he wants you to be, and pray that every day. I said, okay. I didn't do it every day, but like I think about that, and I look at her, and I'm like, this is the woman that God made her to be. And it's just like, love to everybody who's like out there, but like who aren't as fortunate as saved people. But she is like the gem, I guess. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
In like every way possible.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's super cool. So how does it feel hearing all of that?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that feel like different than your past?
Definitely.
Even just hearing that?
Yes. I guess I'll share my perspective of the question. If anyone has heard my testimony on Chris's old podcast, then I've been like open about it before, and I've shared how like in my past, well, one, like I didn't grow up having any healthy view of relationships, whether that was like with family, with friends, or like significant others. Like I just had no healthy role models in my life. So most of like all of my relationships were like because I was severely codependent and like mentally not okay. And those relationships were kind of like just my scapegoat. So the biggest difference now is that like I have a relationship with Jesus, and my like I'm not searching for another person to like fill that void. Like it's already filled with Jesus. So I feel like entering this relationship, I was like, why does this feel so like normal? And it would like cause me anxiety almost. Like I'm like, this doesn't feel like any other relationship I've been in. Like there's no like intense emotion. There's no like chaos at any point. It's just like chill, and like there's peace. And I don't know, I would like get in my head and be like, something's wrong.
Yeah. I think I definitely know what you mean, like in that way. Because what's crazy is like when you come from a place of consistently toxic relationships, once you're in a place where things are like on a healthier ground, your expectation is for problems. And there's almost, and maybe this isn't true for you, but it was true for me for a time, there is almost a desire for there to be a problem, you know? And so like the struggle within yourself is like, okay, is this right for me? Do I really like, do I want this? You know, like, do I deserve this? I don't know, you know? And that just, what you said just now, just like reminded me of, you know, flashbacks of how it was and how it is, you know?
Yeah, that I definitely want to talk about that too. But going back to like the major differences, one, being saved and like letting God just like work on those issues within me over the span of like over a year. Like I'm grateful that God didn't put a desire in my heart to be in a relationship. And then like finally, once it's happened, it's like, although it has caused some like fear and anxiety for those reasons, like I trust that like this is what's supposed to happen at this point in my life. So that's the major difference, is probably just within myself, but then also like dating someone who I don't have to question how he feels. I don't have to question his intentions. Like from the beginning, I never had a question about it, which is like something I can't say before. And that could just be because I was more insecure then. But yeah.
Even at the beginning of your last relationship, you didn't like really have a relationship with God yet. No. Yeah. No. So that's even just like a totally different personal foundation that you're coming into the picture with. Yeah. But have you been a Christian? Like I don't know your story, Austin, so.
I'll make it very short. So I was born into a church. Well, I was born into a family of believers. They are still believers. Let's see. Rahway, New Jersey, down by Cranford, down in central Jersey, if you believe that exists. Let's see. It was called Oasis Church. And when I was 6 years, like we were there from when I was born, and like that was around the time I got saved. It was like around 3 or 4, because like somebody told me about Jesus, and I was like, all right. And I just didn't like question it. Yeah. And then 6 years old, we left and went to up deep in the wilderness of Sussex County, Frankfurt. Yeah. And we really, really struggled finding a church. I think it took 5 or 6 years. Wow. And back then, I'm sure the community is fine now, but back then we had bad experiences with the community. We just could not fit in. They were not the same type of people. Like my mom is from Rahway, and my dad is like a Clifton cop. So it's like, you know, it's just the personality types are just different. They just, and they just couldn't, you know, gel well with the community. And then my sister had some rough experiences with the people, and then we were just like, all right, screw it, we're done. We're going to read our devotionals, and that's it. And that's how it's been for them for the last math is wrong, but like I'm going to say 17 years just to put it somewhere. And then, so like I had always believed. I haven't always walked in it.
Yeah.
And until let's see, I don't know when I got baptized. Well, I've been baptized a few times, but the last baptism that I did was me doing it. And it was me declaring independent, like truly independent faith from my parents, because I'd already been out of the house. So everything else about me from 19 and on was already independent. But then I declared my faith as my own, which was like the final like thing.
When was that?
That was last summer. Maybe last summer, last summer, maybe spring actually. I think it was the springtime because it was right before I came to immersions. Okay. And then I fell into the community, and then that's where we led to now.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's interesting. I feel like both of us, our serious walk with Jesus started at the same time. I feel like around the same time,
Very similar time,
Yeah. That's really cool. And even kind of the similar path. I mean, you had your growing up observing your dad's faith and then kind of coming to, like, even though you didn't have like a full understanding of what that meant, but like you came now later on in your adulthood to receive that and like accept that, and then baptize like kind of around the same time, and like now you guys are true. It's cool because I would actually think that you guys are both pretty equally yoked, in terms of your faith and stuff like that, and like where you are, and that's like a really important thing, So going back to what you were talking about. We were saying the last relationship you were in started and you weren't yet a Christian when that had begun. And so we were just kind of talking about that dynamic difference.
Yeah. I mean, the relationship like with another Christian, like being equally yoked, like, it's just so different, I think. I never, like, I don't have to feel like I need to be someone I'm not. Like, I don't need to be, like, a better Christian, or, like, we're just, like, on the same page and, like, walking together, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at some point, I want to touch on, like, what the experience has been like coming from, like, only knowing toxic relationships to, like, coming into something, feeling secure in, like, a healthier relationship, and how to, like, navigate that fear, because for me, like, I actually did feel a lot of fear that I wasn't expecting to feel at all.
Yeah. Well, you can jump in right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so I remember, like, Austin being very intentional, like, and at some point I was just like, this is a lot. Like, I don't know about this. I would question, like, do I even like him? Because, like, there was nothing crazy going on. Like, my emotions were just, like, stable, and I had, like, security in the Lord. So I was just like, what is going on? Like, do I like this person? And eventually, like, I was just like, I would ask God, like, this person is in my life and it's going really well. Like, there are no red flags. So, like, why do I feel this fear? And eventually, like, I just came to the conclusion that, like, I have to trust God in this. Like, whatever thing I'm fearing, it's definitely because of, like, my past and not because of, like, the reality of what's going on right now.
Yeah. The mic didn't pick that up.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, so I guess, like, even though it's been a short amount of time, I want to, like, encourage people who maybe have had similar experience to just, like, trust the Lord and, like, give him your fear in that, because, like, I don't know, like, how else are you going to discern, like, if it's, like, something's actually not right, or if it's, like, only your fear, you know?
Can you, like, summarize that for me in, like, a sentence or two?
I'm on the spot. I don't know.
It's okay. Only because I got slightly distracted for, like, a second, so it was kind of like,
this is like our Bible study. Yeah. Everyone has ADHD.
So you were saying, like, to be able to come into a new relationship but not fear not allow fear to keep you from entering into what God has for you. Is that kind of like what you were talking about?
Yeah, and like just talking to God and like praying about it is really important, I think, because otherwise how will you have the discernment to be like, is this person just not for me, or is it my actual fear that's leading me to like maybe self-sabotage, you know? So, and also like every time not every time, but we've had like countless conversations about this. Like anytime I would feel a certain way, I could talk to him about it, and he was like more than willing to talk about it and like try to figure it out or like set boundaries, things like that. Like it was never a fight at all.
Yeah. It was like a how can I support you like in this?
Yeah.
Those are the good themes of healthy relationships right there. That's the good stuff. That's awesome. Cool. Well, so
On your next question?
yeah, the next question. You want to jump into it?
You can ask it.
No, you go. I'm asking all the in-between questions, so.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Our next question for you guys is, what strengths and weaknesses do you have that complement each other?
Strengths and weaknesses.
We had to talk about this.
Yeah.
This was probably the hardest one, actually, because it's
Are
like,
these cool? Did these questions like bring up discussions that you guys hadn't yet had?
Oh yeah. I actually,
cool.
with my other friend who I was hanging out with, I was like, oh, like Austin and I are going on a podcast, and they were like, oh, about what? So I showed them the questions, and then we started talking about the questions, which led to like friendship questions. So
That's cool.
yeah, it was really cool.
All right, maybe we'll just post these questions so people can ask them to each other too.
Yeah.
That could be
good idea.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, so strengths and weaknesses.
Do you want to go first?
yeah, sure. I think our temperaments complement each other well. I think I'm much rougher around the edges and loud, and she balances. Well, I don't know about that, but she balances me out really well, and I balance her out really well. I think it's more like the way we interact with each other, and like in conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm trying to remember some of the strengths.
I know.
Go for it.
I'm stealing the mic. I would say like one would be like I can get like kind of emotional, I guess. I don't know, just like scared. Not emotional, but scared. And
Scared is like an emotion. So it's okay.
yeah, you're right. So like in that, he's just a very like logical person and can be like, no, like not like deny what I'm experiencing, but just like bring me back down to like what is actually happening. But at the same time, I feel like you are also like an emotional person, but I have like a little more experience with like certain life events that I'm able to like share wisdom. So like in individual ways, I feel like our emotions and like our wisdom complement each other.
That's super cool. And I feel like that ability to be able to receive one from the other is pretty big too, you know, like especially just humility, like across the board, like on both ends, you know, from what you described, like you sharing life events that you've already been through because you're like a little bit older, and then Austin being able to share like a sense of security that he has just because he's able to like process through a moment with you, and you being able to receive that like from him too. Like that kind of vulnerability and humility is like, I mean, definitely like those are definitely strengths and weaknesses right there. I think that's awesome. And I think that's a really good balance that you guys like have together. So it's going to take you far, for real. As long as it's like the little thing, it's like a little muscle, you know, and you keep exercising like that muscle, and then it'll get really big. You know, it's like finger crutches. I mean, not crutches. You have huge,
big muscle.
Big muscles.
Huge finger.
On your scrolling finger.
Yeah. You scroll all the way to the bottom immediately.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can, I mean, unless you guys have something else that you'd want to share, we can jump into that last question.
I'll say one last thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
because like I definitely have I've been getting a lot of nice convictions lately.
Nice convictions.
Nice convictions. Real stingy ones too. And one thing I noticed is that like when I develop a bitterness, I haven't quite figured out how to like really like let it go. And a big green flag, she'll tell me things I might not want to hear when I'm like, I'm just like, man, I'm really feeling this. And then she'll be like she'll talk me down, like what she was saying before. And then she'll like give me a solution after like letting me just like bounce around like a firework.
Yeah.
And after I come down, she'll be like, all right, are you ready? Like, now listen to this. And I'll say, okay. And then like she like, it's not that she tells me what to do, but she like inspires me to do things that I should be doing, that I know I should be doing, but I don't want to do because the inside is like getting all like bent out of shape.
Yeah.
And then like, and one strength that like, also like to add to that, she like inspires peace. Like I know I think I said that before, but like even when I'm like my head is spinning, like she'll just like, you know,
bring you down.
Yeah. Well, for people listening, that was me just like pressing my hands down towards the table, like nice, like gentle, like she'll just bring me back down.
Yeah. She want to like slap you across the face or something like
that. I mean,
imagine
honestly,
if I did that.
Honestly, I don't know that I'd be that mad. It'd be effective, that's for sure.
We're not.
We don't condone. We don't condone.
That's too funny though.
Yeah, I guess then like our temperament, I would say.
Yeah.
Compliments each
For
other.
sure. And it's really funny because I feel like, Austin, you've been like really calm throughout this like whole podcast. So for you to say like that you're like bouncing off the walls like kind of thing, and like you're like your personality is like a lot more louder and like all this like stuff, it's like just you have to meet Austin, you know, and then you'll see it like in that moment, you know.
Come to our Bible study.
Yeah, come to the Bible study.
I'm getting like crazy deja vu right now, like actually like insane deja vu. We've never done this before, right?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I've been here.
I mean, you've done the podcast. This is my first time.
Yeah, but it's just the whole conversation we had, like even as it was happening, I was like, what is happening? People say deja vu is like the misplacement of an immediate memory. So it's like as something's happening, it's immediately going into your long-term memory, which is making you think that it's already occurred.
That's so weird.
But I don't know if that's really true.
No, it's just the metaverse.
It's just the metaverse. That's Mark Zuckerberg's thing.
You know what I mean?
I heard that it was like you like see a color, like it's like something with your eyes where you like see color, and then your memory bank just like recognizes a color and like
a color?
I don't know.
I've
if
been
that's
looking
true.
at you guys this whole time.
Or maybe like I don't know, like a tone of voice, or I don't know.
Maybe.
Deja vu is so weird. It's like
dang, that's so crazy.
It's such a weird feeling.
I'm just in a different world.
I've had
right
dreams
now.
sometimes, and then like something will happen in real life, and my deja vu was like that happened in my dream.
Right?
It's cool that you
That's
can
the weirdest
recognize
thing.
that it was in your dream.
Yeah.
Too much science fiction.
Anyway,
Yeah, this is not
What's
a sci-fi
that?
show.
Yeah. So last question.
Yes.
All right, here it is. How can you further the kingdom together more than apart? I really like this question.
It's a great
was
question.
this your question? No, we were sitting with someone.
I was gonna shout out Danielle Hoitzma at the end.
Danielle
because she gave
Hoitzma.
us some really good questions.
These are pretty much mostly her questions.
Whoa.
She gave some really good questions.
Someone thinks that her and I look like sisters.
What?
And I'm like,
They don't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
I
you're
have
gonna
to
have to
see
look
side
them
by side or something.
You're gonna have to look them both up on Instagram. For those listening, just look up Danielle Hoitzma and Dakota Eaton.
Don't get stalkers out here.
What? We already said their
up on
names. We
Instagram.
said both their full names.
Yeah, you're right.
Dakota's picture is gonna be up on the internet anyway.
That's true. Anyway.
Anyways.
I wish that I had a Bible, because like I don't even know where in the Bible it says this, but it talks about how like 2 is better than 1.
Oh, that's an Ecclesiastes.
You should know.
No,
we
it's
just
not.
read that.
Ephesians, you mean? I think it is Ephesians.
We're reading that right now.
Ecclesiastes.
What? Where?
Yeah, chapter 4, 9 through 12.
What?
Whoa.
We just read this
You
book
don't
and I
think
did
so?
not
Are you a
remember
pastor,
that.
bro?
Yeah, whoa, you guys questioning my bad memory right now?
It's like he's in ministry or something.
Yeah, whatever. All right, so it says 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either one of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. But we don't have to go. We don't have to go.
Oh gosh.
This is going to save that one for the future. But.
Oh gosh.
And then verse 12 says, we can skip to verse 12. It says, though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. There you go. It's a good dating verse if you cut 11 out.
Yeah, this is PG.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think a goal of mine, I think both of us is to serve together. I would really like that. Which obviously helps the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one answer.
Continuing to walk in the Lord individually together, and then kind of be an example to just other people. We could be serving by talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody comes up to us, asks a question. Yeah. This and that. And then they might see through our relationship. Because I think some of your the people in your life have already seen us acting the way we should be acting. And they're turning their heads like this, what?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that what you hit on there, the individually but apart portion, that's really that's the money right there, because you can be even in the same ministry moment, but you don't have to be together every second of it, because even the way that Glow and I are, every Sunday at 6 p.m. when we're serving, we're not necessarily side by side the whole time. Sometimes Glow's greeting and then I'm going around and I'm touching base with all these other people. But pretty early on, we talked about how even though we're not doing the same thing, we're complementing one another to be able to do even more in that place.
To serve even more people.
Yeah. So that's super cool. And people will see, one, the security that you have, because if you're insecure, you're not going to be able to serve as individuals but together. And they'll also see how that is serving the kingdom is of greater importance than just having to be next to each other all the time. That you're not idolizing yourself or yourselves, because obviously you'll have your time when it's just you guys, and you should totally protect that time and value that time and stuff. But then when you're out and about, it's they see what your priority is in that space too, which is super cool. Yeah. So that's awesome. Those are good answers. Yeah. We're super stoked for you guys, I mean, it's crazy to think you guys are only a month into your relationship, but we'll definitely be praying for you guys. And we will pray for you. But also everybody else who's listening should totally pray for you. But before we get to prayer, we should just recognize the fact that at this point and in this moment
We're
now,
absolutely in the deep end.
we are in the deep end of the pool.
Oh, man.
Which we warned you guys about. We warned you about, and I think
I'm
Dakota,
scared.
have you listened to the podcast before, Austin?
Yeah, I have. She showed me a couple episodes.
Have you ever made it to the deep end?
I don't know. I was driving.
I don't think I have either. Wait, I don't know if I have either.
What?
Like at the very
You've
end.
never
guys
finished
never
the whole
listened to
episode?
it?
You've never
it's at
listened
the
to the
end.
whole
It's
episode?
always
Bro, good thing I know how to swim. Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Yeah, put your floaties on.
I don't really know how to swim.
We have to ask
But
them
you're-
a super shocking
you can be the lifeguard.
question now.
I'll be the lifeguard.
Yeah.
What's the most surprising question?
What's the most surprising question? It's just really to try these Kit Kat churros.
Oh man.
I think that has to be
I
kind of the
also
thing
want to
that we
know
do.
where Austin's necklace is from.
Oh, this is so. I had my short stint in college. I had an English teacher that really inspired my love for reading in 2019, I think it was. And thank you. These are because he's an Appalachian Trail hiker, and now he's a guide because he had finished the whole thing, and now he dedicates his hobbies time to driving people around up and down the Appalachian Trail.
Wow.
And when we when like the college kids would do a good job, he'd give us these he called them magic beads. Shout out to Professor Lightcap. I love that guy. That guy's so cool.
Light cap?
Lightcap.
What a
Yeah,
name.
Wow.
he was this
He
hippie
sounds
guy.
smart.
He was so cool, and I remember like
College days.
he gave me these magic beads, and in my eyes I was like, oh my gosh, I have magic beads. I could take these hiking. He's like, yeah, that's what these are for. Go take them hiking. They're made of recycled aluminum,
Oh.
so like they're made of litter. Like
Don't eat
Don't
it yet,
eat
Dakota.
that.
I'm not. Wait,
she's
before we
like,
do this, I think it'd be cool if we, like, as a new couple, like, could provide just like a little piece of advice.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You want to do it before we... This is melting in my fingers right now.
yeah, I'm
Yeah, let's
kinda
do it
holding
before.
like
It has to be
this.
quick. It has to be
Let's
quick.
all talk with our mouths chewing.
Are we actually? I'll do it.
You guys.
I'm perfect.
I'm going to taste mine. I'm going to
Okay,
taste mine.
hold on. I'm not gonna chew in the microphone.
No, I totally was.
I'm going to try and describe what this tastes like. First off, this does not taste like a churro.
It doesn't taste like a Kit Kat either.
It's not bad. Have you had the caramel ones? They're really bad.
Mm-mm.
This
I
tastes
haven't
closer to caramel, I think.
It
It's like a
does, it
it's like a
does.
vanilla caramel almost.
This is nasty.
Wait, you didn't even eat it.
I did eat
You
it. I
just put it on
took
the
that whole
table.
bite.
Do people know what we're eating?
Yeah,
We're
I
eating
said I said Kit Kat churros.
Oh, my bad.
It's a Kit Kat limited edition in the flavor of churros, but
They're
that
not
is
that
not a
good.
churro.
The key lime ones were better.
I don't really
Key
like
lime,
them. Here,
key
you
lime
put that
Kit
here.
Kats.
Mhm.
Oh
Put
yeah.
that here. Oh, you know what they taste like? Actually, I don't even think they have a name. No, never mind. I think they're like a Spanish candy, and I don't know what the name of it is. But it's like almost like a honeycombed, twisted caramel pill. Don't know the name.
That sounds
Yeah,
incredible.
so that's completely unhelpful. But anyways, give us your advice for this. Okay, this is the advice for people who are entering into a relationship right now.
Yeah.
From people who are a month into being in a relationship together
As Christians.
as Christians.
But I mean, you can take this advice too if you're not. It's probably good advice. Maybe, I don't know.
Go for it.
I would say to like enjoy the relationship and not put so much pressure on the future, and to just enjoy like what is now, because obviously we can't tell the future, only God knows, but you can do what you can together in the moment now. Yeah, and just enjoy it and see what happens from there.
Yeah, relax.
Yeah,
Take it
but
easy.
also like be intentional. But yeah, you know what I mean?
Without the pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Be relaxed. Don't feel pressured, but be intentional.
Yes.
But not pressured intentional.
Yeah.
Relax.
Not like this
relax.
must lead
Relax.
to something. It's
Yeah.
like,
Relax and take
act
it
like
out.
it is.
It's like you're like
Yeah.
slowly
Yeah.
putting your foot on the gas kind of
Yeah,
thing. you
take
know?
it easy. But
Take
like
it
just
easy.
just a little bit of pressure, but aware of what's going on around you. Like be aware
Yeah.
of the law, but enjoy the life that God has given you.
Yeah. That's good right there. That was well said.
Mm.
Well said. Look, glows deep in thought on that one.
She's in the deep end.
I think she's actually
in the
just thinking
deep
about the
end.
Kit Kat. Not gonna lie.
I like
she wants
it.
those other two
And
pieces.
she's like,
I know.
I'm fiending
Why are you
for
guys
them.
reading my mind?
All right. Well, we want to pray for you guys because you're a month in, and we, you guys have a long road ahead of you and everything like that. But you're not alone, and we're here alongside you. For those listening, if you guys are praying for them, feel free to hit us up and just let us know that you are, and we'll pass the word over to them as well, because there's like a whole community behind you now. A whole community who, if they made it this far, really care about your story. And so,
Aw.
we just want to take a second to pray for you.
Mm.
All right. You want me to pray? Okay. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for this opportunity to just hear how you are working in the life of Dakota and Austin and how you brought them together. God, I just pray that you would continue to be at the center of their relationship. I pray that they would be able to continue to just exercise the muscles and disciplines of really the fruit of your Spirit, God, in the midst of their relationship, God, that they would continue to be humble, that they would continue to be quick to listen and slow to speak, that your wisdom would continue to pour out from one to the other as is needed, that they would continue to feel, most importantly, secure in you, and knowing that the security that they have in you is what will help them to feel secure with each other as well. I pray that their desire to serve as individuals and yet together as well, God, that would continue to flourish in their understanding of what that looks like, and that they would be able to find one mission in their relationship that they desire to achieve together. And God, we pray for all the potentially new couples that may be listening to this or just maybe coming to fruition now. God, we pray that you would be at the center of that as well, and that this episode could possibly be just a benefit to them in just hearing it. And we pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.